guys, it's Lindsay from thetoastedpinenut.com. Today I am so pumped because it is week 2 of Cookbook Club, which means we are making cauliflower gnocchi out of my cookbook, Cauliflower Power. If you're new to Cookbook Club, we are making a recipe once a week for 8 weeks out of my cookbook. Last week we did the coffee cake. This week we are making the delicious garlic herb butter gnocchi on page 146 and 147. It is so good and so simple to whip together. So what we need for this recipe is some cauliflower florets, some tapioca flour. If you don't have tapioca flour, try using arrowroot starch or arrowroot flour. I definitely recommend tapioca flour because it gives it a really delicious sink your teeth into texture, which I love. So tapioca flour, I'll link to my favorite one down below. You can get it on Amazon. Some Parmesan cheese and some eggs. So that's what, 4 ingredients for the base of the gnocchi. So simple, so let's jump right in. Okay, so we have 2 cups of cauliflower florets, which is about 270 grams if you're measuring it out. You want them to be about the same size because we're gonna chop them up in our food processor. And if you have bigger ones, they'll take forever to chop up. So we're just gonna pop these right into our food processor and turn them into a meal. So I am just gonna pop this lid on and then we are going to turn it on. It's gonna turn it into a meal. So a lot of times when you do this, you are gonna cook it before, boil it, steam it before you turn it into a meal. Here, we are just doing it raw. So these cauliflower florets are raw and we're just popping them right into the food processor, turning them on. All right, let's check it out. This looks really good. There's a couple florets that still need some breaking up, so I'm just gonna kind of go through with my spatula and then turn it on again. All right, this looks really good. So what we're going to do is just get a bowl, put a clean thin dish towel into the bowl. We're gonna put all our meal in it, and then we're gonna squeeze out any excess liquid. We're gonna be reusing this food processor, so you don't have to clean it out or anything, just pop it right back on. And then we're gonna try to squeeze out as much liquid as we can. We're not gonna get a ton because we didn't steam it or cook it beforehand, but anything you can get out, just try your best. Cauliflower is super liquidy and watery, so you're gonna get a decent amount of water coming out. So once all the liquid is squeezed out, we're just gonna plop it right back into our food processor and discard our liquid. All right, so into the food processor, we're going to put a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. We are also gonna add 1 egg and 1 egg yolk, going right in. And lastly, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of tapioca flour. Okay, and then we're just gonna blend it all together. Take breaks to scrape down the sides with your spatula to make sure everything's nice and incorporated. Let it go one more time. All right, looks really good. So this is what it's gonna look like. It's still pretty wet when you touch it, but it has kind of a crumbly appearance. Okay, so this seems like a good spot to pause and say, these are not traditional gnocchis. This isn't a traditional gnocchi technique. We are going to depart from the traditional way that you make gnocchi and we are going to use a piping bag. If you have a plastic bag, that totally works too. So you want to put all of this gnocchi dough into your piping bag or your plastic bag and then cut off about a 1/2 inch opening. This is a little wider than I want, but this is all I have, so I'm gonna work with it. So we're gonna transfer all of this into our piping bag or plastic bag if you have it. So I already said it, these aren't traditional, so don't come at me in the comments saying, what are you making? These aren't traditional gnocchi. I already said it, they're not. They're fun, they're different. If you've been loving the Trader Joe's gnocchis or you just love traditional gnocchi and want a fun spin on it, this is the perfect recipe. So all of this is going in my piping bag. Let me get all of it. All right, so I have a baking sheet. I lined it with parchment paper, and what we're gonna do is just squeeze this out into 1 inch little logs right onto the baking sheet. They don't spread out that much, so you can kind of pile them in there, but you do want to make sure you keep a distance between each one. So they don't have to be perfect, just do little little logs, little nuggets right onto your baking sheet. So with traditional gnocchi, you would roll it, you would cut it. These we are piping, which also makes them pretty easy, a lot less mess. It is a fun new take on a gnocchi recipe. So somebody asked me if you could freeze these, and I think they would hold up pretty well after you bake them. You could pop them in your freezer and kind of meal prep, save some of them. All right, let me see if I can get one more. Okay, I've done my surface, messy. All right, so the last step is you wanna go in there and kind of shape them with your fingers. So what I like to do is just tuck in the edges with my fingers along the sides and pat the tops to kind of make more of a log or a rectangle shape, more of a circular oval rectangle shape. Just kind of smooth them out a little bit. So just go in with your fingers, press them down, make sure they look good. I just tuck them in the edges and kind of make them a little skinnier. Tap down the tops just to smooth them out. And you kind of just want to create like a little uniform shape. The last thing you want to do is create that iconic ridges on the top of the gnocchi. So what I like to do is just go in with my fork and just do a little press down to create that look. So this is just going to create that cute little ribbing. It's almost like a peanut butter cookie, how you do those marks on top. We're just going to do that with the top of our gnocchi. And I've had people comment, tell me I say gnocchi weird. I don't care. This is how I say it. I'm not changing. People also tell me I say cauliflower weird, but I'm from Jersey and this is just how I talk, okay? All right. Okay, we are almost done. We are moving through. All right, so the oven is preheated to 300 Fahrenheit. I'm just gonna pop these in for 30 minutes. When the gnocchi is done baking, you want to make the sauce. So we're going to heat some butter over medium-high heat in a pan that's large enough to hold all of the gnocchi. We're also going to add garlic, sage, and chives to the butter, and we're going to cook for about 2 minutes until it's fragrant. Then we're going to add that baked gnocchi right to the pan and toss it a couple times until they are coated with that delicious garlic herby butter sauce. We're gonna add 1/4 cup of Parmesan and cook for an additional 1 minute. We really want that cheese to melt and come together and become incorporated into the gnocchi. And then we're gonna sprinkle additional Parmesan cheese on top and serve it immediately. Serve it hot. It is so good. All right guys, it is cooked. It is slathered in that garlic butter sauce. And now we get to take a bite. It is so good. I love it. It's cheesy, it's garlicky, it's buttery. It has that fluffy, sink your teeth into texture that I love. It is nice and golden brown on the outside from being baked, and it is just so stinking good. I hope you guys make this cauliflower gnocchi. I hope you love it as much as I do. You can really get creative with what you put on top. You could do marinara sauce, you could do pesto, add some meatballs, some cheese, obviously cheese. If you make this, definitely use the hashtag cauliflower power so everybody else in Cookbook Club can see your dish. You can grab a copy of my cookbook, Cauliflower Power, on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever books are sold. I will link to it down below, so definitely pick it up if you get the chance. Thank you so much for being here and cooking these gnocchis along with me. I am Lindsay from thetoastedpienut.com. Come hang out with me on Instagram at thetoastedpienut, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.